Stuart Varney of the Fox Business Network is going to go after the Pope here for his comments about capitalism. Listen to this.
Pope Francis says free market capitalism is a form of dictatorship. He says it devours human beings and the environment. Here's my take. I disagree with His Holiness in two ways. First and foremost, capitalism, in my opinion, is a liberator. The free choice of millions of people is the essence of freedom. In my opinion, society benefits most when people are free to pursue their own self-interest. I know that sounds like a contradiction, but it's not. When individuals are free, we collectively are better off in every way, financially and spiritually. Pope Jean Paul understood that. He had experienced firsthand the horrors of a real dictatorship. And we in America are beginning to understand the problems that come when government sticks its fist into the marketplace. That's point one. Markets work well for everyone. Second, I personally do not want my spiritual life mixed up with my political life. I go to church to save my soul. It's got nothing to do with my vote. Pope Francis has linked the two. He's offered direct criticism of a specific political system. He's characterized negatively that system. I think he wants to influence my politics. Now look, I think Pope Francis is a wonderful man. He lives simply, without extravagance. His life is an example to us all. So this Episcopalian is not critical of the man. I simply wish to keep politics out of the pulpit.
Keep politics and religion separate. Unless, of course, you're making a conservative point. Stu, take it away.
How about, what is it? Mark 20, verses 1 through 16, the parable of the workers in the vineyard. A worker goes out, works for 1 hour, earns 1 denarii. Another guy goes out for 2 hours, earns 1 denarii. Another guy goes out, works for the whole day, 1 denarii. They all get amongst themselves and says, it's not fair. They go to the boss of the vineyard who says, it is fair. It's my vineyard, I decide what's fair. That, sir, is in the Bible.
Awesome hypocrisy. These guys are ridiculous. Like, they don't care. Whenever, you know, somebody actually reads what Jesus wrote and has that influence their politics, Stuart Varney, out of bounds. It's out of bounds. You can't do that. Keep politics. Obviously, you keep politics and religion separate. Oh, look who's now arguing for separation of church and state. Whenever it's a Republican or a conservative that uses religion to push home their point, they're all for it. I've never heard Stuart Varney go on this rant when it's Pat Robertson talking, or John Hagee, or Jerry Falwell, or Rod Parsley, or any of the conservative evangelical pastors. And how many, I mean, the entire Republican Party uses the abortion issue and religion to say, vote for us, we're the religious guys. Where was your rant when it was Republicans running on abortion, or when it's Republicans running against gay marriage? I never heard Stuart Varney make that point of, oh yeah, no, you got to keep politics and religion separate. And let's be clear here. What Stuart Varney wants to do, he wants to compartmentalize. So he wants to be able to be an asshole and a dick, you know, Monday through Saturday, and treat his workers like shit and be a typical douchebag capitalist, and then come Sunday he wants to go and, you know, apologize for all the wrongs that he did so he can go Monday and start again being a douchebag. That's what's going on here. And I mean, think about the points he made earlier on in his rant too, because those are really stupid also. He says, he's basically saying capitalism is perfect in every way. In every way. But I mean, what these guys, I can't believe they don't get it at this late date, is that, you know what, it's a fair point to make if you say, well, there's something about capitalism that coincides with human nature, and we need some level of capitalism as part of an economic system. In fact, it should probably be the base of your economic system. But you can't say that it's 100% correct and perfect and there's never any wrongs associated with it, because that's just as stupid and just as extreme as somebody who says we need all government all the time. That's a communist. It's just as idealistic and ideological as communism. And just to give a couple of examples, if capitalism was perfect in every way, then why is it that whenever you have pure capitalism and no regulations, you have horrible environmental disasters? So for example, General Electric, the company GE, was dumping PCBs into the Hudson River for years and years and years, toxic chemicals in there. Why? Because it was cheaper to get rid of the chemicals right there than have to pay to transport them and dispose of them safely. So there were people who could have gotten sick or who did get sick. You're affecting the air around you. You can pump carcinogens into the atmosphere because it's cheaper to do that, but you're destroying everybody's lives around you because they can get cancer and die. Okay, that's one example. That's externalities. There are other just whole systems that shouldn't be capitalist. So for example, the police department. You need police to be funded by the commons so that they protect everybody. They protect the commons. If you fund them privately, only the rich would pay them and they would only protect the rich. So the police would 100% of the time oppress the poor if it was privatized. I mean, these things are obvious. These things should be fairly straightforward. If you don't have regulation of the marketplace, what happens? You have economic crashes. We had deregulation all throughout Clinton's later years and Bush's years, and then we had the Great Recession in 2008. We had free market capitalism in the 19-teens and 1920s, and then we had the crash of 1929 and the Great Depression. Obviously, some things need to be run by the government, and obviously some things should be more run in the private sector. But these guys, they don't live in a nuanced world. They don't live in a world where you actually evaluate evidence and come to smart conclusions and there's a balance there. No, it's all, again, he's an ideologue. Capitalism is always great, capitalism is always right, and oh yes, capitalism is always moral and ethical, and Jesus Christ would love it, and goddamn that Pope for saying something actually intelligent that cares about human beings and is kind of liberal.